All right, here we go on a Tuesday. And this is just going to mess everything up here. My opening monologue, the things I wanted to talk about. Rodgers just on McAfee, now we're just getting information. But let me get through this first. If you want to get a hold of me, you can do that. Follow along on Twitter at Wisconsin_fam, at Wisconsin_FAM. Email the show, email address, wisconsinfamily1@gmail.com. If you look us up on YouTube as well, you can subscribe, and if you do notifications, whatever it is that you do on YouTube, you can do that with us. Just look us up on YouTube, Wisconsin Family, and you can find us there, so you can follow along on that as well. Aaron Rodgers just on with McAfee. So I apologize. I'm just reacting to this as I see it happen live in front of me, essentially. Rodgers tells Pat McAfee he's going on, and what did he call it? This man, let me pull it up here again, make sure I have all my information in place here. This man is an odd duck. Aaron Rodgers is going to be going, he tells McAfee he's going on a darkness retreat. A darkness retreat. For those of you who don't know, I assume that's probably everyone in my audience, unless you've dabbled in the strange, shall we say. I assume nobody knows what a darkness retreat is, so I'm finding the information out right now. I'll tell you. A darkness retreat that Aaron Rodgers will be going on. It is 4 days and 4 nights of sitting in yourself, utter isolation, in the dark, pitch black, for 4 days. Oh, God. And 4 nights. And then it will be, ladies and gentlemen, during this time that he decides, evidently, his future. So he will go into his isolated journey here for a couple of days. He'll come out the other side, and evidently he's going to then inform the Packers of, I don't know, is that what he said? He's gonna let the Packers know sometime after this week, after he has his 4-day isolation. Now that is I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what to say at this point. But well, I guess we'll find out after this week. It is really okay. It just the hallucinogenic drugs last year, darkness retreats to figure out your future. He said he talked to a few friends and they've done it and it seemed to help them. It seems to get weirder every off season. What do I know? He's done a lot of weird things. One thing that Rodgers has not done, excuse me, one thing he has not done in recent memory is win a Super Bowl, but there's been a lot of other odd things. Let me shift just for 1 second here, because there is other news besides the Rodgers stuff. Now, I'm not trying to give you a punch in the gut, but I don't know what else you can feel as a Packer fan when you see the headline, Vikings officially name Brian Flores defensive coordinator. So there's that. Meanwhile, Matt LaFleur is hanging on with white knuckles to Joe Barry. Now, think about this. The Vikings make the playoffs this year, yet that's not good enough. Despite making the playoffs, they still fired Ed Donatel. Now they go get one of the top coaching candidates in the entire NFL. They make him their defensive coordinator. Meanwhile, the Packers didn't even make the playoffs, and probably the biggest reason why they didn't was because of Joe Barry. And here we are, desperately keeping him. It's just not going to end well for the Green Bay Packers. It's not going to end well for LaFleur. I mean, it's bad enough in and of itself that they keep a bad coordinator. But you know what makes it even worse is that the perception is that the only reason he keeps that bad coordinator is because he's buddies with him. And by the way, Barry has never had success as a coordinator, even in his previous 2 tries. At any rate, LaFleur is hitching his wagon to Barry, and people think it's because LaFleur is friends with him and he doesn't want to fire him. This is going to be a hellstorm next year for LaFleur if Barry's defense starts out bad. And people aren't going to be talking about Barry. That was this year. Everyone agreed he should have been fired. Everyone weighed in on their thoughts of Joe Barry, and everyone just kind of thought, I think, we'll wait till the end of the season and he'll be gone. But the Joe Barry talk has been wore out. There's nothing more to talk about when it comes to him. All that attention that was on Barry is now going to shift to LaFleur for not making the switch. Barry is no longer the problem. He was for a while, but not anymore. Now the problem is his boss. The one who won't fire him. The one who doesn't like telling the quarterback what to do. The one who doesn't want to fire his friends. The one who didn't want to fire Maurice Drayton after we all witnessed an entire season of the worst special teams known to man. And I saw on Twitter, a good account, by the way, IKE Packers Podcast. They posted a question asking if Matt LaFleur has what it takes to be a coach. Something along those lines. And I myself asked a similar poll question during the season. At any rate, it's a fair question to ask. My response was, if part of the answer to this question is we need to see what he looks like without Rodgers, then that answers the question about LaFleur right there. No, he doesn't have what it takes. The fact that Rodgers seemingly tells his head coach what to do and calls the shots is proof enough that he doesn't have what it takes to be a head coach. But just perusing through some of the answers, I noticed a lot of the same. A lot of people saying he's too nice. He wants to be liked rather than respected. I'd agree with all that. So besides the Rodgers stuff that we let off with McAfee here, beyond that, all the stuff with the Rodgers going to the Raiders, that really blew up over the weekend from the golf course at Pebble Beach. Rodgers was talking about the Raiders. Fans were talking about the Raiders. Davante Adams on Twitter talking about the Raiders. I will say that right now, it is a bunch of nothing. But it's just fascinating to watch how Rodgers and his buddies can manipulate the fans and the media as if Aaron Rodgers is going to tip his hand and give out some kind of inside information while at a golf tournament. Now, remember, now we know that's certainly not the case. He has to go into his 4-day isolation of darkness before he can make a solid football decision. But everyone at this golf tournament over the weekend, they're thinking he might just drop some kind of nugget. Everyone's got their notepads out with a pencil ready to jot anything down that he might say about the Jets or the Raiders, or or maybe come back to the Packers, which no one's talking about. At the third tee at Pebble Beach, and people are waiting. Well, at any rate, Rodgers is the big topic in sports. His thing with McAfee today, and anything he says is going to continue that. And hearing people who are in Phoenix covering the Super Bowl, they're saying that the Super Bowl obviously being the main topic in Arizona. But outside of the Super Bowl, Rodgers is the other big story that everyone wants to talk about. There's no